So we've talked about the different industries that are, well, we'll call them emerging markets. With every downturn there ever has been, it doesn't matter what the economic collapse has been, there has always been at the same time emerging markets. And so, in the past, like let's take a look at post World War One. Post World War One, there was an economic downturn, and what occurred shortly after that was transportation. Transportation became a emerging market, and a big reason for that was because of the airplane and because of the way ships were being built and so on and so forth. The ability for us to move around, transport, was really revolutionized. Um, uh, and so that was an emerging market of the day. The opportunities that came as a result were actually quite staggering. And the reason why was because before the war there was transport, but then during the war, not a lot of transport occurred because there was still a lot of there's still a lot of sabotage occurring. There was a lot of insecurity because the waterways were wild. Militaries were taking out transportation, and so transport actually was a destroyed. It was a destroyed industry, but then it got revitalized when people, and it was the people who bought ships and shipyards and so on and so forth, everything to do with the infrastructure of transport while it was cheap. And then things took off. And so we've been talking about how we're in a similar situation right now with emerging markets, AI, gaming, real world assets. We are at this synthetic biology, nanotechnology, quantum computing, AI, of course, I mentioned that already, blockchain. These are emerging markets, and they've been emerging for, I would say probably for about 20 years. But we're now going to see them be in full effect. We're going to see inventions that are mind blowing. We've got there are people who are now using AI to construct 3D printing models for new organs. So if you need a new liver, the nanotechnology will be sophisticated enough that you can 3D print yourself a new liver. These are things that just they're mind blowing to us, and we're going to see a lot of these types of innovations occur and be released over the next 3 to 5 years and going forward. But there is another aspect, another emerging market that I believe is really unsung. A lot of people have no idea what it is, and it's my favorite topic because I've been studying the trends that we're noticing today. I've been studying how they will pull out, or how they will roll out rather, over since 2008. And this one particular aspect of our lives is an emerging market in the sense that it's like those shipyards and the ships that were bought for pennies on the dollar. And this segues into ADA. Cardano is a nonprofit organization. A lot of people don't realize that. A lot of coins are nonprofits, but ADA has a very unique place in the market, and that is it was developed by a for-profit corporation called Input Output Hong Kong. That was one of the companies involved. There were several companies involved. It's a decentralized autonomous organization, but IOHK, Input Output Hong Kong, it's the name of that company. They are they built that blockchain with the intention that it would be something that people could use to safeguard their unalienable rights over their property, utilizing and in accordance to international banking law. And the reason why they wanted to do this was because in 2016-17, the project was actually launched as a test to see whether or not they could help people in African countries safeguard their wealth from warlords. Because the way it works in Africa, because of the culture, because of the everything, the people, the way the nations are formed, the way that the tribes are still warring with each other. Warlords would come up and take over certain areas and basically make it impossible for people to trade. They had to surrender all of their property to the warlord because he had to save the country. And so people were forced into that. Cardano came on the scene specifically with the intent of making sure that those people had access to their property, to their money, their means of exchange, usurping the power of the warlord. And it was a wild success. It worked very, very well. And since that time, since 2017 in particular, the work has been laid out by this autonomous organization. The work has been laid out and brought forward in effect today. Now, IOHK is providing people, staff, to consult nations on how to have constitutional conventions that will allow their people, the citizenry, to safeguard their property rights. Now, Canada doesn't do this. Of course, Canada doesn't do it because they're not interested. Canada is not interested in safeguarding the property rights of the citizenry. If it was, they would be doing something, maybe a hundredth of the work that I've done since 2008, but they don't. So that's proof that Canada has no interest in helping the citizenry. But there are now 50 nations that IOHK is consulting. And those people, those consultants are working directly with communities, not the MPs, not the politicians. They're working directly with the communities, showing them how to form a nation. So, in light of that, I'm going to come back to what I believe this emerging market is. I believe the emerging market that we're seeing Cardano bring forward, completely different from what everything else. I mean, we've got AI coins coming out the wazoo. There are more than enough meme coins. We've got gaming coins. We've got infrastructure coins like Injective, Fetch, even though it is definitely an AI coin. The intention of that particular coin is for the infrastructure for AI. We've got all of these cool things coming out. But I believe that the one thing that most people have no concept whatsoever of how significant of an emergence this is this idea of self-governance. These nations these countries are actually doing what countries are supposed to be doing. What a concept. I know we're not going to see it in Canada because Canadians don't want it. Canadians would rather vote for someone else to tell them what they can and cannot do. But these other nations are stepping forward and actually asking the academic, now, and when I say academic, I'm also not referencing the woke ass university garbage bullshit that is being pumped out like imagine those meat grinders. You go like this and the meat comes out and nice ground beef and all the rest. Well, that's not what these universities do. The universities of North America, instead of actually putting nutritious meat through it and creating patties that we can put into our mouths and nurture our bodies, instead of that, what they're doing is that they're actually shoving shit into the meat grinder and then taking it and feeding it to the students. That's what North American academia is today. But when you get outside of these manipulated countries, these service corporations that do nothing to serve the people, when you get away from that, academia is actually quite advanced. It's actually quite amazing. We live in a little bubble over here with all of the propaganda and public education programming and all that stuff that relatively makes people blind to the sheer honor and glory and positivity that comes with living a human life. We don't get that. But worldwide, people do. So it sounds kind of sad. It sounds kind of depressing because Canada isn't doing this, but it's actually okay. And the reason why Canada isn't doing this, and this is one of the biggest presentations that I'm working on right now to help people really get an idea of just how terrible Canada is to live in. And people say, well, if you hate it so much, why don't you move? Well, it's called globalism, first of all, and this isn't something like just because they're doing that and I don't want to be a part of it doesn't mean that I need to leave this land, right? I can simply be more academic with the rest of the world and show people here how we can do the same thing. That's I believe that that's my purpose, and as of this moment in my life, this is what I'm working towards. But when you take a look at just how significant it becomes, where people are hosting constitutional conventions, and the significance of that goes back thousands of years, where a people come together and establish their own governance. This is how countries are formed. This is how it's done. Canada's never done it, and so that's why Canada is not actually a country. And people say, oh, you can't say that. But like, well, actually I can, because Justin Trudeau, shortly after he was brought in as and selected to be the globalist leader for the globalist corporation Canada, shortly after that, he actually went to the UN to apply to be on the Security Commission. And the UN sent him back home and said, no, you have to be a country first. And you haven't done that. Canada literally is just a British outpost. But now I'll be sharing more on that presentation later. The significance of self-governance, though, I believe will outperform in the long run. It will outperform this bubble that we're experiencing today. And in this bubble, because of the timing that it's occurring, along with these other 50 nations that are looking to help the people, I'm saying this very carefully and deliberately, these countries are helping their people. Why do I say it like that? It's because governments are instituted by men and this is a self-evident truth that is listed in the Declaration of Independence of the United States. Governments are instituted by men with the specific purpose to serve men. It's not the other way around. And that to any government that doesn't fulfill that purpose, it is the duty and responsibility of the people to abolish the country, abolish the government completely. It's their duty to do so. That's why I've taken on the work that I have. It's because it's my duty. It's my duty to help Canada dissolve. It's my duty to help the people form their own nation. They can call it Canada if they want. I don't really care what they call it. I just want it to be theirs. The significance is so great that I believe that Cardano will be $10 by the end of this cycle. And it will probably retrace back, maybe hit $3 for support and hang out there for another year or two as people start to learn how to use real world assets and learn how to start self-governing, and they start learning from sources like me and Wayne Peters how other countries are actually living free, and inspire people to form their own constitutional conventions here in Canada. And I believe that over the next couple of years that opportunity will be there. It has to get a lot worse first, because people are still thinking that Canada is actually real, that it has some sort of legitimacy. And until people recognize that it doesn't, we're unfortunately going to see that downward spiral of our economy going down the toilet. And it's just the way that it is. Now, my role, again, in helping people get around this is to help so they don't get affected by the Canadian economy, so that they effectively don't operate inside Canada. We can operate outside of Canada, and Canada can collapse and we won't really even notice it. It's like we'll go to the grocery store to get our eggs, and they're going to be $80 and we're not going to care. And the reason why is because our economics are not found in Canada. They're actually foreign and private, and are not susceptible to the manipulation and corruption and all the rest that the Canadian currency is. So that's what's possible here today, right now, is we can set ourselves up for that. And I love the fact that we've got so many different things going on. We've got the AI coins and the gaming coins and injective token and all that's wonderful. But I truly believe that ADA is going to, in the long run, outperform all of these others, specifically because it's not meant to be used for gaming. The blockchain is literally built from the ground up to ensure and safeguard the self-governance of the individual. It's so good at doing it that it is a method by which people can basically fire all their lawyers and wealth managers. They don't need anybody to safeguard their wealth anymore. Everything can be done by them as an individual. Now, if they don't know how to do it, that's great. That presents opportunities for, coaches and like money coaches or wealth managers or wealth advisors to come in and help those people. But the people themselves must be the sovereigns in charge of their asset. And Cardano's the only chain that is actually accomplishing that. All the other ones, they're just having fun. And they're fun. There's no question about it. But here's and the reason why I'm bringing up Cardano like this is because you've heard me talk about how important it is that we have an exit strategy. It's one thing to go into the bubble and make 20x on your money, take $1,000 and turn it into 20,000. That's amazing. Take 10,000, turn that into 200,000. That's a wonderful prospect. But the real reason why I'm bringing this up is because you are not going to be able to cash out a single penny if you don't have an exit strategy. And so I'm going to reveal to you my exit strategy. Cardano, within the ecosystem of Cardano, there are a few places where you can go. And I'm not going to share it here because, I can. I just don't have it prepared right now in a tab. But a part of my exit strategy is gold and silver. I believe that gold and silver are going to drop, and I've talked about this as well on the on previous market analyses. And I'm just going to pull up the charts here. I just got to find my little camera program here so I can, there we go. So we've talked about this before, how, this retracement that silver is on, and now really consolidating back and forth in this area here. This price, I believe, will continue to go down, especially through this AI bubble. And it'll be largely because, and if it doesn't go down, it'll probably stick around like in this area. And the reason I say that is because the faith in the dollar is going to go up a lot as a result of Trump's work and the propaganda surrounding how awesome he is. And so I believe, as with all of these, as with throughout time, the faith in the dollar is going to go up, and gold and silver, these two here, and especially hard assets, will actually start to devalue. They'll go down in value because there's going to be less demand for them because they're wanting to make more money in, the TSX or the US 30 or Tesla or Nvidia or all of these other tech companies that are coming out to boost the economy. When this price goes down, and we're making all kinds of dough in the AI and the gaming bubble, and my goal, my own personal goal, is 100x. That's my personal goal. I'll show you how I do it. I'm not going to tell anybody else they're going to do it. In fact, I think a lot of people that just follow along and don't diligently show up every day, I think they'll probably lose everything after the bubble because they don't follow up. They don't plan ahead. They don't look for an exit strategy. My exit strategy is to make all that money as the bubble goes up. So let's pull up the crypto 30 here. Again, climbing towards that all-time high very consistently. But let's say this goes up. Well, you know what? Actually, I'm going to call up Bitcoin. Bitcoin, as it goes up, eventually, the prospect here is between 150 and 200,000. So that's going to be 114% increase from the election, or up to 214% increase from the election. When this is up here and we've reached that 150, that's when I'm going to start selling out. As it goes up, I'll continue selling, but I'm going to start selling out 50% of everything that I've made when Bitcoin gets to 150. That's when I'm selling out. Where am I putting it? I'm going to be, first of all, as I sell, I'm going to be throwing it into ADA. Now, ADA right now is at $1.21 US. It's a wonderful, wonderful chart. I think that we could very well see another drop coming down to settle at around $1. I think that that's going to provide some support. But then after that, I'm going to go to the weekly chart so we can see this in bigger terms. Whenever we see big growth, like look at this here. We are right now at the all-time the high that was formed in 2017. That was the high. Now remember, I'm on a logarithmic scale. So this here, this point at $1, $1.20, $1.30, going up to the top here to $3.12. That little bit there, that's like the tip of the iceberg, right? Remember, most of the price action is down here because it's a logarithmic scale. Excuse me. So this last bit of 137% that we have to go between here and there is nothing. Okay. This is the previous high from 2021. If we go back in history and we look at how these assets go, and we've seen enough charts, I'm not going to go through it. This here is going to be a starting point. And I believe that $3 point will actually be, after the bubble, the next support. But where is the target? Where is Paul's target? Where is he going to sell Cardano? And what is he going to do with it? What's his exit strategy? Well, within Cardano, And again, I'll pull this up for our private members so they can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. I don't like showing everything on the free stuff because it's personal. And when it comes to this exit strategy, I want it to be a little more held close to the hold that hand closer. So this movement here is going to be no problem. There might be one level of resistance that we see around that $2 mark, but it's going to have no problem blowing past this $3 price point, $3 US. When we take a look at what occurs in these, how these impulses occur, we're going to look at the last time Cardano had a big bull run, which was right here. It was at 1 cent on March 9th of 2020. It was at 1.8 cents. And then it went up 700%, retraced, and it went up. The next one here, there's a big retracement that came in here literally in 1 week. That big retracement there. But this movement was another 1,800%. And then from the tip of that to the next run, yeah, we'll take it right to the top. No, let's go here. It's another 1,500%. And then another 169% right after it found that support. So this movement that we see here in total was what? 15,000%. That's 100. This quick little thing here. Obviously, no one grabs exactly at the bottom and sells exactly at the top. Very seldom, anyway. I've never seen it. But that's a 15,000% increase. That's 157x. Now, I'm not saying it's going to do that again. However, we can take what we've learned about these movements and apply them to the price action we're seeing today. Not that we're going to go up 700% in this first pulse, because that would take us 700%. That would take us already to that $3 mark. But if we take it and measure this, it's 139,000 points, or 0.139191. Oh, where is it? This movement is 141,000. Yeah. So here, it's on a different scale. It's on a different scale. We're starting at 33 cents. Another market, actually, I'm going to duplicate this here because I'm going to show you why it is that I think we're going up to $10. But to do that, I'm going to go like this. And I'm actually going to grab the market cap for Cardano because this gives us the amount of growth that we see in market cap. So how much money is in it? Okay. So we look at this. It went from 437 million at its low there, when it was less than 2 cents. Went from there and increased by 4 billion. Okay. So this is going to be more of the type of movements that we see. It's going to be the market cap that's driving the price. Okay. So this first movement here going into the next one, let's just measure the whole thing. This is a total of $101 billion, up from 437 million. Okay. Now, again, we can't always say this happened in the past, and so we're going to see the same the same market cap increase. That doesn't necessarily mean that. But what we can do is say, okay, so here we are at this low here. Oh my goodness. When you have nation states that are coming on board and they are wanting, I'm going to just pull up Bitcoin here real quick because this is related. Bitcoin right now is sitting at $1.91 trillion with a fully dilated volume of 2.03. That's incredible. That's incredible numbers. Bitcoin, last time it was there, or last time in the beginning of, there we go. The beginning of 2020, the market cap was, there it is, March 2020. March 5th, 2020, the market cap was 165 billion and is now up to $1 trillion. Now, again, this was just going there and it went up in that run. It peaked out at 1.18 trillion. So just over half of where we are today. This movement was a 10x from 100 billion to 1.18 trillion. That's 100x market volume. Now, it didn't do 100x price, but the volume went up 100x in that period of time. What happened to Cardano during that time? ADA. All market cap. Here's that 2020, March 2020. 731 million. And it peaked out at 91 billion. Under a billion to 91 billion. So we're looking at about 100x, right? Because with March of 2020, look at that, 600. So 10x would have brought it to 10x would have brought it to 6 billion, but it didn't go to 6 billion. No, it went to 91 billion. So that's huge. That's actually over 100x, isn't it? That's right. It's 100x. So this run here, and this was tiny because it was a very small amount. When you take into consideration that in Forex, during this time here, in Forex, it doesn't happen right now. There's actually less liquidity in Forex than it was. This is when I stopped trading because the liquidity in the market dropped. There wasn't enough liquidity in Forex for me to do my trading because my trade plan was based off of the volume that was occurring on a regular basis, which was about $5 trillion a day. That's the volume that got traded in Forex before this time. And then what happened was that the measure, the EV, it was called the EVX. Oh man, it's been a while. EVJ, I can't remember. But that indicator that I used was measuring all of the currencies being traded in a single day. And it was over $5 trillion usually. Well, this huge influx that brought us into that $1 trillion market cap in cryptos is where the money went, which messed up my trading because I needed to see that volume in order for my strategies to work. So I stopped trading. And this is when I was like, okay, I'm going to miss this run, but I'm going to catch the next one. And I did everything I could to learn. Now, I feel like I've gone down a long path here. Oh, right. Okay. So here we are at $11 billion just before the election. $11 billion market cap. And already it's at 42 billion. So we've gone up 4 times, almost 4 times. And the price hasn't. The price has only gone up 282%. So, given the fact that the last time we had that kind of a price increase with a 100x increase in market cap, that 100x increase in market cap brought the people $16,000% return. As Cardano goes back to that high point of 91 billion, okay, we are right now sitting at 11 billion going up to there. Where was 11 billion here? Way in over here. So February 2021. Yeah. 42, 11. Right. Yeah. I wish I would have spent more time preparing for this. This movement here is easily, yeah, because it was at 34 cents at that point. So this time here, sure enough, that's the market cap. Yeah. So what I'm doing is that I'm going back and forth between this day here, just so you can see what I'm doing, where I'm getting my math. Going back and forward from this day here to comparing over here. And the price here, even though like we've got this 41 billion here, because this was at 11 billion here. When it was at 11 billion here at the end of January in 2021, the price was at the end of January 2021, right? End of January. Let's go right there. End of January 2021. There it is. That high was 37 cents. So we just hit that now. This influx here from that point, there's the 11 billion. Yeah, 11 billion is right about there. So 11 billion on January 30th at that price point went up to $3. That's a 10x in price. This here, I truly believe that we're going to see nation states bringing this forward, and that their citizenry is going to be buying, because that's how they're going to start with the security of their personal wealth. I don't think it's going to 10x this time around. The price. I think the volume and the price are going to be that, like, in a sense they'll be reflective of each other. But this movement here, I think we're going to see it similar to how it was in 2018. The difference between 2018 and this high here is likely the difference we'll see between this high and the next one. So when we are looking at this, we say, okay, where was that base? 11 billion, right there. That's a lower price point, or rather, yeah, there's that 11. There's the 11. Price point is the same, but this time around, the difference between this and this will likely see again. So let's go back. Here's the 2007. We said, what is this? 134. So 134 from there is $7.35. Now, again, that's if we just do it again. That's if we 100x the market cap. Okay? If we 100x the market cap from here, the $7.35 is not going to be an issue. but I don't think it's going to be 100x. And the reason I say that is because we're going to see this happen within the bubble. And so we're going to see a lot of momentum as it goes up. I think $10 is going to be easy for it to reach, simply because I don't think the market cap is going to 100x. I think it's going to be closer to 2. Because this isn't like last time. Last time, the big bubble happened because of blockchain. Everybody was excited about blockchain. First time, it was just Bitcoin back in 2017. Bitcoin drove this market. That was that bubble. This bubble here was crypto bubble. This bubble here is going to be the AI bubble. And simultaneously, in the background, we have nations, 50 of them currently, 50 nations looking to help their citizenry take this up. That is going, yeah. I don't see this being 100x from where we were in market cap, because 100x would bring us to 1 trillion. But cryptos, in order for this whole thing to occur, all of cryptos are going to easily go up to 5 trillion for 2 reasons. Number one, big, huge bubble. Everybody's joining in. All the big tech companies are throwing in. Well, the big tech companies they're already throwing in. They're committing $250 billion in Q1 of 2025. They're committing $250 billion to the development of AI, specifically because they need us to invest trillions of dollars so they can make their money back. Remember, we've talked about that. But this ADA isn't an AI coin. AI is a governance coin. And when you have nations coming on board, you have entire ecosystems of economies coming on board using this. That's why I think we're going to see a $10 ADA before the end of this cycle, because it's just a shitload of people coming on board and securing their wealth, which to me is more valuable than AI. It's more valuable than gaming. It's more valuable than anything else that we've seen in any of these bubbles. And again, Cardano is the only one that is backed, or that is in accordance, that has the protocols that allow people to safeguard their property rights in accordance to international banking law. And the significance of that is no nation state has authority over international banking law when it comes to your property. If there is a nation state that is taking your property, like what Canada has been doing for decades, and if you don't think that they have, just go look at your tax returns and come back to me. That makes it impossible for nations to do that to the people. That taxation is something that now, as a standard, is voluntary. It already is. But these other nations, not Canada, remember, Canada doesn't want this. The people are very content to even want Trump to make Canada the 51st state. That's how much their Stockholm syndrome has them enthralled. The timing that we're in right now, I really do need to prepare more of a presentation for this so that people can capture the significance of this. But the timing of this, to have this happen, is going to bring in a whole schwack of people. And it is at that $7 point where I will be taking my Cardano. Here's my exit strategy. I'll be taking my Cardano and I'll be trading it for gold. Why? Because when this is up to that $7 mark and it's climbing towards that 10, it'll be coinciding with Bitcoin being within that range of 150 to 200,000. Again, it is all speculation. This could all end tomorrow, technically. My plan is, as this goes up and gold and silver go down, I think that gold could even rest and find support. Look at this. That high and this retracement, this is enough for it to continue, but I don't think the faith in the metals are going to rise over this next 4 to 6 months. It will go down. So I'll be buying gold on sale at around 2,400. Now my cryptos, ADA, at $7, right? So let's say, for instance, I'm not going to say how much I have, but there's 750. That's a 21x from where we were at the beginning of November. 21x. I'm going to take that and put it directly into gold. And my gold that I get is actually going to be minted by Cardano. It will be on the immutable ledger of Cardano, my gold. That's my exit strategy. And when the bubble pops, this is why, like, people are doing the whole, join us for this bull run thing, and they're just going to make money over the next 4 to 6 months and then laugh at everybody while they drink their faces off for the next 2 years. No. This is just the beginning. The bubble that we're going through right now, to me, is just the beginning, because when gold takes off after the faith because AI, the cyber attack, all that stuff, the faith in the dollar is going to be destroyed. It's going to be cataclysmic for a lot of people. There are going to be suicides galore because of how much money will be lost. That's going to make gold go up. Now, where is gold supposed to go? If we take the amount of gold that is currently above ground and we redistribute it properly so that everybody gets their share, and I say that because right now, the way that it works in paper contracts is that every gold that's above ground, every ounce of gold that's above ground, there are 300 people who think they own it, okay, because of the way the paper contracts are sold on market. Once that revalues and we get a correction from all this manipulation, the manipulated price, this is expected to go to 60 grand per ounce, $60,000 per ounce. Well, what is that from here? Well, let's just go ahead and scale this sucker. Look at how high that would go. Can't even see the chart anymore. But a $60,000 ounce of gold, let's go 59 just for sake, is another 21x. I'm gonna now put up some numbers on ADA, because I'm sharing with you my goals here. I'm not saying this is what you need to do. And in fact, if you follow what I do, you could very well lose everything. We could both lose everything together. Let's do that. Let's win everything together. If we win, let's win everything together and have a great celebration. But if I'm going to lose and you're coming along with me, let's lose it together and still have fun. But here, I'm going to throw some numbers down. Take $1,000, just $1,000, because not everybody has the kind of money that I do. So let's go 1,000. You can make it 100 if you want, and you 21x that. Okay, so now you're up here. That target 750 is 21,000, right? That's great. Now I'm going to sell half, and I'm going to take half of this, and I'm going to do some fun, have some fun with that. Celebrate, right? So I'll take 10, and I'll leave 11. Then I'm going to go to gold. And here is where I'm going to put my 11, somewhere in here. 11,000. And then we just scale this up again, remember, because we got to do that. And we go up to 60,000, because that's what the fair market value is of gold right now, adjusted for inflation and all that stuff. Times 21. What's 11 times 21? Well, 10 is 210. So 210 plus another 11 is 22, 221. Okay. You tell me when in history, folks, this has been going on for a long time. I've been studying this since 2008. This day that we're going through right now, these final hours of the Great Reset, I've been studying since 2008. I'm not saying that I know what's going to happen. I'm simply saying everything that I've been watching and studying over the past, what is that, almost 20 years. So it's 16 years. Everything that I've been studying, these are the types of numbers that we can see occur. Where else in history would you be able to take $1,000 and turn it into $221,000? There's not really anywhere else you can do that. I mean, maybe some penny stocks back in the 70s and 80s before there was high frequency trading and stuff like that. I've heard some amazing stories about that. But this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And I can tell you right now, folks, I can tell you right now that after gold does this and after my plan is complete, I've got an exit strategy for this as well. I have this already planned and what I'm going to do with it. The key here, and this is something that will be given access. We'll be able to, this next phase of development in blockchain will give people access to the ability to provide, don't want to use the word, banking services for their communities. You see, when you have this kind of money, and again, these are just numbers that I put up here. I don't put up. Sometimes you might see my screen with my MetaMask and stuff like that. That's not how much money I have. That's how much money I have in MetaMask. This here is life-changing money. I'm not playing around with this. I'm actually starting closer to this number than I am 1,000. But this here, this type of growth, I will be minting with gold, and that gold will actually be used within my community to provide collateral for credit. Okay? Now, what does that mean? It means that with this type of money in a community of people that are following me, as we go through this, people are going to be following me. Together, we can actually issue our own credit with this type of gold. Okay, this type of holdings. Remember, secured by blockchain. This presents the opportunity for us, the next generation of merchants, to help our community issue its own credit. And this is key because Canada can't. It's not allowed to do that. It's allowed to do it within its own ecosystem. It's allowed to do that within its own little fake monetary system. And people sign up for it thinking that that's just the way it is, not knowing that they could do something on their own, which is what we're going to be doing here. My exit strategy is to set up a community that issues its own credit, because if it can do that, now it can become an internationally recognized country. Whatever it is. Again, I don't care what you call it. I don't care what you do with it. As long as you're following the Constitution and you're updating it on a regular basis in accordance to natural law, this kind of money changes lives. And I don't think we're going to be the only ones doing it, especially when we're seeing how many countries are already hosting constitutional conventions today. This is a 2-year plan. But right now, 50 nations across the world are having IOHK, the developers of Cardano, right there. The developers of Cardano are assisting these countries in accomplishing this type of thing. Not this kind of return, but they are helping people, the people behind ADA are helping 50 different nations show their people how to create their own governance so they can issue their own credit, so they can form their own nation, so that they can have their own internationally recognized country. Y'all can have the AI bubble. Y'all can go ahead and 20x your desync. You can go for it. Do it. You can go ahead and make your 20x off of 0 by 0. ARC. We were talking about ARC down here when it was under 1 cent. My last buy on ARC was 2.1 cents. It's supposed to go to $1. Well, that's a 50x. But you want to know what? You can keep it. I don't care. I'm more interested in having Canada dissolve as the corrupt, nonsensical, garbage piece of shit country that it is. The losers in the greatest war against humanity the world has ever seen. Canada is evil, and it has no place in a world of civility. Zero. And that's what I'm after. You can take the 50x's, you can take the 20x's on AI. You can go ahead, put all of the money you want into FAR and make your 50x here too, because I don't think it's going to stop at 23x. This is the previous all-time high from 24. Okay? 24. This here is going to be the support for the 10x. Okay? So if that's the support for 10x, and to get there we got to go 26x times 10. That's 260x. You can keep it. I'm not interested. I'll have some fun with it. I'll make some money during it, but I don't really care. I care about us forming a new nation, and it's going to be the next generation of merchants that do it, because they're going to be the ones who identify these patterns that are like us, that have this pattern recognition, this superpower of pattern recognition, and they're going to be assisting us accomplish this mission. And together, because that's how it's done, folks. Like, I'm not making something up. I'm not coming up with an opinion on how nations are formed. I've been studying this a long time. This is how nations are formed. The next generation of merchants, it's the people, it's the creators, it's the architects of solutions, it's the entrepreneurs who lead the economy of any country. Hands down, every single time throughout history. And it's not even really up for discussion. That's just how it works. In Canada, we have the most glorious opportunity because we don't even have a government that can prove it exists, and I can prove it. And that's what my next presentation is, my big presentation, not next as in tomorrow, but my next presentation is going to be showing everybody how the Canadian government cannot prove that it exists, and I can prove that they can't prove it. This opportunity presents itself once 500 years, probably 600 years. I'm hoping that helps you see what I see possible, and it helps you get kind of a vision or a glimpse of the vision that I hold for what we can do. This is why I think that Cardano will go up to $10. This is why I think that by having this growth and by exiting at that point and turning it into a hard asset like gold, minted on chain using Cardano, because remember, it's being developed specifically so that people can safeguard their property. My property will be that gold, and I will secure it on chain. And when it's up here, yeah, I'll even a little bit higher, right about there. That is, I'm not going to be the only one And together we can form that governance, we can secure our wealth, and we can issue our own credit, all in one move. And while that's happening, we can also we can actually rescind the Rupert's Land Act. And if we do that, the Rupert's Land Act rescinded, that by the way is a process that takes 30 days. You make the announcement that you're doing it and you post it publicly on like a community billboard or something like that. You post that publicly for 30 days and it comes into effect. So that's something, again, when we talk about how the politicians, oh, what's her name? The one for Alberta, Danielle Smith. People talk about how good she is. Well, if she had any desire whatsoever to do even a hundredth of the work that I've done over the last 14, 15, 16 years, if she had any desire whatsoever to do just 1/100th of my work, she would start with rescinding the Rupert's Land Act. But she doesn't do that because that would be the dissolution of Canada over here. And, the rest of the nation can go ahead and burn for all I care.
And that goes against her oath.
And it goes against her oath. Exactly. That's exactly right. If she were to serve the people, she would be violating her oath and charged with treason. That's why I don't really care. Like I did a presentation in the summertime. I was sitting down in a living room. There's, I don't know, 15 people or so. And we hadn't even gotten started yet. And one gentleman, he leans in me, he goes, "So, who do you think's going to win the election?" And I said, "Well, I've done some number crunching on this, and I've come up with precisely 0 fucks. Because it doesn't matter. Canada doesn't exist. The only reason it exists is because people have faith that it exists. And I can tell you right now that over the next 2 years, that string of faith upon which Canada hangs is becoming weak. And it's going to be the next generation of merchants that snip that line. Because we are the ones who are actually building the wealth of the next generation. That's what this is. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I'm going to say. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm glad you guys are on board. And this is going to be a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. We're going to see some pretty exciting things. And I can tell you right now, there is a electrical charge that actually gets into your blood when you start to see these types of gains. Yeah, in 2018, I can remember one morning waking up and just before the US 30, just before the markets opened up, and the US 30. I could probably go back if I did some thinking. I could probably think of which day that was. It was in the summertime of 2017. Yeah, it was in the summertime of 2017. I don't know where it was, but somewhere in here, I woke up one morning and I saw what was happening on the charts and I got so excited. I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to take a risk. And it's, small risk. I'm not going to be stupid about it, but I'm going to take a risk here. I think it's going to go up. And I went ahead I thought it was going to go down. And I went ahead and I risked $60. $60, 60. Now, I was doing leverage trading. We can talk about that another time. That leveraged $60 made me $2,400 ... in 45 seconds. I can tell you there is an electrical charge that goes through your blood when that happens, and you end up doing it more. Maybe not to that degree, maybe not to that excitement level, but it sparks a spirit of manifestation within your mind, and you start to project into this materium that we experience as reality a new self-image. And I encourage everybody to go and read Psycho-Cybernetics. Incredible book. It will revolutionize the way you think. Psycho-Cybernetics is a science that studies the way of being, and in that way of being, it is proven that it is your self-image that rules your manifestation more than any kind of, trick or tip or whatever the gurus say, like the movie The Secret and all that stuff. That's just garbage. All of it's garbage. The only thing that manifests is your self-image. And so when you have this type of thing happen, like what we're going to see over the next 4 to 6 weeks, that's going to shift your entire self-view. And you will discover in that journey, I can go ahead and turn this off. You will discover in that journey that every parameter that you've used to identify yourself will also dissolve, and that you will find a whole new world of parameters with which you may draw from in order to create your own identity. And that right there is the big key component that makes all the things that I've talked about, this vision, possible. Because right now, as it stands, people who identify themselves as Canadian don't do this. They don't do this willfully, but they don't know because they've been deceived. But the deception is so good. It's so perfected that people truly believe that they are Canadian. And by identifying themselves as such, they are simultaneously identifying themselves as the property of the state. And as we go through this period, this transition, and we start building this wealth, and we start utilizing and leveraging that wealth to actually create a new nation with our own wealth, there's no telling how we can identify ourselves. The slate is clean. And in so doing, I believe what will activate at that time is something that we've heard in the past. Let your light shine that others may see your good works. And that type of thing will occur because we're going to be standing 10 feet tall and bulletproof while the storms of the economic tsunami of destruction that Canada is deliberately inflicting upon the people with the specific intent and publicly expressed intent to get them to sign up for their digital ID and CBDC and the new currency that's going to fix all the problems. While that's happening and everyone is experiencing that turmoil, they're going to be able to identify we're not scared. They're going to be able to identify that we're standing tall, that we are not fazed by the hardships of the rest of the world. We will literally be in the world, but not of it. That is for certain. So yeah, I told you we were going to look at a few charts. We did, but I definitely went off. I definitely went off on a little tangent today because it's time. It's time that we have this discussion now, and I look forward to the partnerships that form as we progress through this journey, as we pioneer this fourth industrial revolution together. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. You guys go ahead and come on in and partake in conversation. Questions, queries, comments.
I'm just saying I'm starting one already.
Yeah.
Yep. I've got it going.
Nice. Yep. That market, especially, that's the foundation of it right there. That's the foundation. Yeah. That's how you build community.
Yeah. We have to build community. And there is going to be some resistance, and there is going to be some that are not open-minded. There is going to be some that are scared. right? And so it's staying the course, right?
That's right.
Like what you did, Paul, stayed the course for all these years, and I know I'm very grateful for it.
Me too. I'm grateful that I stayed the course. It was not always easy, but the things that are worth the most do come with effort, consistency, persistence, stick to itiveness. That's what makes it easy. What makes it harder is if you're not consistent, if you're not in the game, and those days will show up, folks. I mean, even between now and when we cash out, there are going to be days where we're just not happy at all. It's going to be tough days. But that's why I started NextGen Merchants, was because I knew that as a community, we can pull through all of this and build something new.
But they're going to be better than what the alternative is.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm going to see other people go through, this is going to be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyway, cool.
Very cool.
I'm excited.
Your referral, the butcher.
Yes.
What can you tell me about them?
Wants to get the heck out. He's kind of like Robert.
Okay. Okay, good.
I've been working on them for actually a year.
Oh, wow.
It's just timing. They never were able to actually come and do anything. So
okay. Yeah.
And I didn't have your link with me, so I was like, I think he'll just text.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm gonna give him a call here right away as soon as we're done.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you're gonna be with me today, right? No, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow you and me.
Right.
Today here right away, I'm gonna be calling them, but I'll be back in the game room probably 9:30, something like that.
Okay. I'll maybe pop in there because I have some questions.
Okay, great. Awesome.
I'm sorry, I can't remember her name.
Oh, that's Jennifer.
Jennifer. Okay. I thought it was, but I didn't want to say it wrong.
Oh yeah, and I can do this too. I think if I go like this, I can also. There's a way that I can have people's names displayed, but
because my name is displayed right on mine. I don't know if Jennifer's put her name in there.
Okay, so when you're here, you can't see down the bottom. You can't see everybody's names down the bottom.
See everybody's. No, I can just see my own.
Oh.
So I don't know why it's not displayed.
Sometimes it does show at the bottom, Paul. I think it's your settings or whatever.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know that there are settings to make that occur, and I just don't know where they are right here. It might not be something that I do live either. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I invited a couple more people to come on here, so we'll see.
Awesome. Good news.
Build the community, right?
That's right. That's what we're here for. Awesome.
Thanks,
Okay,
Paul.
well, have a good rest of the day.
Bye.